The Christie administration presented the 2012-2013 budget to Parliament today, promising to set the country on a course for change amidst high government debt, a huge infrastructural bill, and no new taxes. Vowing to expand the private sector and tighten the country's purse strings, Prime Minister the Right Honourable Christie told Parliament that all of his government's policies will make for a stronger fiscal position going forward. Clint Watson has this angle of the story.
The good news is there are no new taxes at this time, but with the government's debt at $4.6 billion or 54.5% of GDP forecasted by the end of this fiscal year, the debt servicing will be $328 million. Prime Minister Christie says with this level of debt, there will be a need to heighten and manage resources. Moving into the new fiscal year, the government is confronted with a large capital works expenditure. It estimates that by the time these projects are completed, the price tag will be around $400 million, significantly higher than projected by the previous government. The government accepts that the country's debt must be constrained in short term and reduced, so it plans to implement a modern debt strategy. A special finance committee of experts will address this issue. A white paper is also being prepared on proposed tax reform systems. It will be tabled in the House.
My government will proceed with the plans for the creation of a new centralized tax administration to consolidate revenue collections and maximize the effectiveness and efficiency of tax administration on the basis of international best practice.
As for increasing revenue, the government will look to plug existing loopholes.
It is estimated that with administrative improvements alone, annual property tax revenues could be increased by almost 100% over the next 5 years. The government will pursue a comprehensive multi-year strategy and implementation plan to reform and modernize the real property tax system. An international expert has been engaged to help guide this process.
Prime Minister Christie says with no room to maneuver, they're still implementing policies to stabilize the country.
In light, however, of the fiscal reality that we face, we are holding the line on recurrent expenditure in 2012-2013 to the maximum extent possible. Recurrent expenditure in the coming fiscal year is projected at $1.821 million. That is an increase of $114 million, fully $55 million of which is allocated to the increased requirements for debt redemption in the coming period.
As an incentive to boost Grand Bahama's economy, the hotel occupancy tax is being reduced by 50% for 5 years for existing properties and for 10 years for new properties filing returns under the new electronic reporting system. There's also an extension of duty-free concessions to East and West Grand Bahama. The government also plans to implement a number of stimulus packages in real estate and hopes to reduce tariffs on a number of goods. There's also a focused mandate on BIC and the Development Bank. The government remains committed in its focus in ensuring that the Bahamas becomes more safer and definitely more prosperous for Bahamians and those that live here. They recognize that there are obstacles ahead of them, but the Prime Minister says he's committed to ensuring that they don't fail, but they succeed in their mandate. At the House of Assembly, Clint Watson, ZNS News.